Hi, this is Meg. Welcome back. And I'm happy to be here with you today. I want to start by taking a deep breath and getting really nice and present with this tile. I just recorded the previous video about making this tile and bringing it to this point. So if you're following along with me on the same day, thanks so much for coming back to see what we do with it. All right. So when we created this tile, it was I was talking about using these tiles and this process as a tool in the toolkit of self-management and self-possession. And, that's kind of deep and all, but really what it is just how do you stay focused when you're bored out of your mind in a meeting, or when you've got so many things in your mind that it's hard to stay focused on one. For some people, there are so many different priorities competing for your attention at any given time that you have to jump a lot, and it's simply difficult to have quiet time in your mind to process. And so this particular tile with these compartments is one of the ways that I go about doing this. And so I created this compartmentalized tile here with these frames around them. And I see one place where people in my last video probably saw me miss this one, and they're like, Meg, you missed one. Almost every video I see at the end after I've posted it where I missed something, and I think, oh my gosh, I bet there are some people out there who see those errors and just can't stand it. Alrighty, so the theme I'm going to go with on this tile is botanicals, because we've got this beautiful flower in the center already started. And so I'm compelled to work on the flower a little bit, if you want to know the truth. And what's great about this compartmentalized tile is that you can work anywhere you want at any time. I can do one of these little sections while I'm on the phone for 10 minutes and not finish it. I can come back to it later, and I can do this one tomorrow. It's almost like a sampler quilt, if you will, where you're putting it together in pieces, but they all are contained on one background together, right? They're all in one space, but you're adding to them over a course of time. If you think about it being like a sampler quilt or something like that, I think it kind of makes the process of building it more fun and interesting to see how it comes out. And of course, the more you want to spend time on these, you can make them match, right? You could really put it together like a sampler quilt and say, this pattern is going to be the same as this one, and this one will be the same as this one, or I'm going to compartmentalize these even further and build quilt patterns in. The opportunities are endless, so follow your passion with whatever direction you want to take it. In this case, I'm going to try to do something intentionally, and I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I do want to work on the flower. So, but what I was going to say is that I plan to start in the center of each one of these and work out. That's right now what my idea is to start in the center of each of these spaces and then work out, so that I have leaves growing, plants growing, but the direction of up will be on the outer side of each section. So that's my concept right now, and so then they'll all be coming out of this center flower. I don't know what I'm going to put in those spaces yet, but we'll see when I get there. In the meantime, I want to work on the flower a little bit, because I don't know, it sort of feels inspiring, and in its own way, this is compartmentalized, drawing in here, because I'm staying intentionally within these boundaries, and I'm working on this particular piece. And if I stop talking, which I promise I will in a second, this process of designing within this flower is very calming in itself. And so I invite you to watch or follow along if you started this tile with me in the last video, and continue working on yours. Or if you didn't, simply use whatever materials you have. You don't have to have this type of tile or this size, And start with, your favorite flower. I'm using air quotes when I say that. And draw your favorite flower in the center. And then create a design of compartments on the outside of your flower. Boxes, or whatever kind of compartments you can think of. And then you'll be up to speed with us if you're following along with this video. And so, as I've said in previous videos, the key to Zentangle is one of the keys to it is really the intentionality that you put into each stroke. Taking it nice and slow. We're not in a race. There's no place that we have to be right now. If there is, it's probably best that you don't try to squeeze this in, because this is a slow and deliberate process, and there's no competition to be the best at it. There's no timer that says you have to spend so much time on it or be done in a certain time. And don't forget to breathe. If you're holding your pen too tightly, which I sort of am right now, I need to loosen up my fingers a little bit. Don't let myself get anxious about this. This is a process of creating something one stroke at a time, one compartment at a time, one line at a time, and I trust myself to be able to do that. Neat. I like how it's starting already. I like these stripes here. I think that gives it this sort of bouncy look. I'm not sure what I want to do in the middle, but I do feel like it needs something. If for no other reason than I don't want to leave that pencil mark right there in the middle. So I feel like I need to do something, or I've got to erase it. So try not to erase, so I'm just thinking about what I want to put there or do with that would make it work better. So I think what I'm going to do is just do another little petal like that, not attached, so that it has kind of almost like a cutout look, if you will. You know, when you look at cutout paper, that's what this might look like, but without coloring it in. I don't know why, I just think that has sort of a cutout look. All right, I'm going to move to my next compartment and do one of my botanical sort of designs. And this one is going to be a pretty big fern sort of shape. And I'm starting with the center stem that goes right up the center of the fern. And then I'm going to start in the middle, and then I'm going to go up and down. But the first thing is I'm just attaching some leaves to this center part. And I'm letting myself go all the way to the edge because I want the appearance that this frame is on top of them, or that this fern is behind that frame and bigger than the frame. But yours could be completely in the frame if you want. And really what I'm doing is just the same shape over and over again. It's like this. A curve up one side and a curve up the other side. And occasionally I go a little off on purpose because it gives this look of a more organic thing. because things don't grow perfectly. So that one kind of goes behind there, and this one's short, which is just like these things typically are. By no means perfect. There, that's one side of my fern. And then I'm going to go and do the other side of this fern. Also running off a little bit of the page. Do a big wild one that goes way out there, just like that a fern would do, right? There'd be that one rebellious one, just doesn't play by the rules. And some of the little fern shapes are broken. So there it is. There's my center of a fern growing up, and these little petals or leaves coming out of that larger leaf shape. And then I'm going to go to the next one and do another one, something different. This time I'm going to do these long, curvy little flowers. And they have just a few petals that hang down like that. And I'll do another one, not quite as far up. And it has a couple of petals too. And just keep doing those. One of them might go up here. Maybe one grows out from there. They don't have to be perfect. There's no such thing. And even one maybe where the little petals are sticking up. One is sticking out. Just trying so hard to live. I tried to really fill it up. So the next space I'll do I think I'll try kind of a branch idea, but it's very organic. I'm going to just go a little bit of space and then branch off. And go a little bit more and branch off. More branch off. And this branch goes two ways. And this branch goes... This is kind of dangerous to do because, you know, I end up running into myself or not making the right branches go the right ways or whatever. But it's still fun to kind of do it, even if I don't do it very well. I was continuing here with this branching process and talking a little bit about the danger of doing it because I get a little lost in the branches, you know, and then it's like, oh wait, is that a branch or a non-branch, you know? But who cares? And I'm just doing it anyway. it even gets a little tedious for me to try to figure it out. And I'm like, oh, that's it. Forget it. That's all the branches. Here we go. Simple enough. Let me go see what I can do down here. My kids learned how to make trees at school by their teachers always said you make a Y and then you make a Y and you make a Y, and I had never learned it that way, so this is how they did it. You go up and then you make a Y, and then you go up and make a Y like that. It works. I don't know why I forgot today. That's as easy as doing that. Why? Why? Let's see where I am here. Branch off there. It doesn't have to all match up either. It really doesn't. Just draw the lines. You know that's what it is. Kind of a, it's really all it is a very organic looking branchy space. It could also be something from underwater, like some kind of water plant. My next space, I'm going to do something with leaves on branches. And I'm even looking outside the window right now. I may try to do something like what I see. So I see a branch like this, and a leaf like this, and another leaf like this. And then the branch goes up a little more, and the leaf goes like this, and then it goes like this. So that's my new plant. And then I'll do it over here too. And I want it to have, it doesn't matter that it doesn't look just like it. It's just a pattern I'm creating inspired by the plant I see outside. Because this is entirely stylized. My own design. It's something I'm simply making up as I go along. So there's no right or wrong. There's no judge of whether these flowers really exist. There's no one who's going to come along afterwards and say, flower police, that the plant is not good enough. It doesn't look like a real plant. And I can say, oh, I don't care. So, going behind those other leaves. Going behind here, pretend it goes like behind that leaf. Do you see? And up another branch, and then I'll do a petal here. And go behind that other one, and a petal there. I like the way it looks. It doesn't look at all like the one outside, but it doesn't matter. It gave me a starting place. I think what I am looking at outside, if you're curious, is a rhododendron that is not blooming. It is just green, so it has really nice green leaves on it, but no flowers yet. And so those the leaves are nice and wide for the size branches that they're on. They're actually thin branches with wide leaves. So I've done 4 of them now, 4 different compartments. And for the sake of this tile, I think I'm going to work on just a little bit of shading and on these 4. And let's just see how that goes. The first part I want to do is, I'm eager to try it. I want to, so I'm going to start in these corners and see how my frames look. You know, that was kind of part of the design of this one, was to make these little compartments have this look of being inside of a frame. And so I'm kind of eager to see if I want to put a little graphite in the corners. And that's going to make it look like the frame goes in a little bit. And then I'm going to put a line on the inside edge of the frame because I want them to look as if they cast a shadow on the picture below, if that makes sense. Kind of like the picture or the whatever is in there is above it, you know. So I'm putting this line on the inside of the line of the frame, and then I'm shading in the frame itself because I want it to look like it goes in. It's not really going to look like that, but that's kind of what I'm telling myself. So that's the other one. But that's what I'm trying to do. And then in this one, I love to shade this particular design right down the middle like this with a fair amount of graphite. I hope you can see how much I'm doing. Yeah, I think you can. And then a little bit more over here for these spaces, just sort of messy. Put a little bit where there is no leaf. And when I get to my tortillon, we're going to spread that graphite around inside the crevices of this thing. And it's a nice look. Let's see, here's mine. So I'm going to start up here and just spread that graphite down into my frame a little bit. That's the other side. That's why I colored that, is I just kind of want to see if the frame part works out as I envisioned it. And now I'm just pulling this graphite right into the leaves, just like that. And same thing up here. I'm going to push it especially in between where there's no leaf supposed to be there, right? So creating this background, if you will, for those leaves. There. You know, I'll never ever claim to be the very best artist. I just do what I do, and this is how I do it. And that's all I can tell you. So if you've got a better way, I'd love to learn it. And if this didn't work out, I hope I do better next time. So anyway, there I go. That's what I did with that one. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I think I just have to get a little distance from it to know if I feel that it was successful in terms of what I intended to do. For this next one, I'm going to shade it like, I don't know, something a little different. Maybe just shade it down here at the bottom of the where the flowers are. Maybe in the corner, and then the other corner. Maybe it'll look a little vintage. You know, give it a little bit of a vintage look to it. Let's see how that looks. And I didn't do anything to the frame this time, because they don't have to be all the same. Yeah, it does kind of have a, I don't know why, it looks sort of like you're looking at an old picture when you put this much graphite down, like the edges of an old photograph are worn down or something. Or just see how that looks. I love the way that looks in the center. Like that. Neat, huh? Now this one, I feel like the only thing to do is put dark behind those branches, but I could make the branches black. Or I could make behind the branches black and make this just a black and white thing. It's hard to decide. Or I could shade it in the middle and then just push it to the, yep, I'm going to do that. It's going to be weird, and I think I might like it, so I'm just going to try it. Just put a whole bunch of graphite down in the center, pretty big, and then push it out like this. It looks kind of like a spider. Now it has much more of a spider web, spidery look, I think. And you know, I might come back with my black pen and color in some of those spaces just for drama. Or I might do all of them. I don't know. This is really an interesting portion. If I were sitting on my couch doing this in silence by myself, I don't know where I would go with it. I think I would do what I'm doing right now, which is pretty randomly coloring in these spaces just based on where my pen wants to go. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'll probably come back to that one and do some more on that. Well, for this last one, I think that I will just do a little shading kind of right along the side of it. Something a little more traditional. Just give it a little bit of attention and love right down the middle there, and then push that out towards the edges. I think I'm going to go back on a bunch of these and work on the frames a little more, like do a little bit more kind of ornate scrolly work. And perhaps I'll make another video of that process, because that might be interesting to some people. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to do this. Just go right down the center, push a little bit of that graphite out to the petals. Like that. You know, in Zentangle, we're not real worried about, like, where's the light source on this and being consistent and all of that. It's totally irrelevant. It just doesn't matter, because this is not about making a product of any kind. And there we go. I kind of like that. It's just pretty. There. So that is what I wanted to show you on this one, was how to enjoy the compartments separately, but even within a theme. And in my next video, I will have done these 4, and maybe I'll work on the frames with you a little bit and see how I go about decorating those. Thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this process, and I hope it does become a tool for you in your toolkit. And please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and do leave me comments if you didn't, and help me to improve the content and the process and how I'm delivering it, if it would suit you better. I'd love to hear that. I'm open to all of your feedback, and hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.